friends, it's me, Kelsey, and welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you are here. We are doing a video that I'm really excited about today. We are going to look at 3 series that I love that I just don't talk about very much on my channel, or I haven't talked about before, or that I just kind of maybe you don't know about, or I maybe had forgotten that I loved until recently when I was reorganizing my shelf and I saw them and was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much I loved this series. So there are 3 of them. And I'm really excited about this because one of them was kind of a rediscover for me. I forgot how much I loved this series, and then I saw it on my shelf and then I remembered. So this is really exciting. I have all 3 of them down here, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about them. So here we go. The first one was actually, these are the books that got me back into reading out when I restarted my journey. So a little bit about that. When I kind of in the pandemic, I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. And part of that journey was my therapist told me, you need to get off of social media, because I was doom scrolling at night, horribly bad. And I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would pull out my phone and I would scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And then I would have anxiety and I would be up all night panicking, freaking out, having horrible panic attacks, waking up my husband, even at times waking up my daughter to make sure she was okay, going in to check on her, and in the process of checking on her, accidentally waking her up. It was really bad. So my therapist was like, you need to do something to calm your anxiety. You need to have an outlet. Have you tried putting your phone far away from your bed and reading at night? And I was like, who does that? And so I started doing it by picking up the Bromance Book Club books. And these were the books that I started with. And these were the ones I was just telling you about. I forgot how much I loved these books. They are so fun. They are fun. They are sweet. They're innocent-ish. They're small on the spice scale. They all have spice in them, but they're not off the charts spicy. There are 5 books. So it's the Bromance Book Club, then the Undercover Boss, then Crazy Stupid Romance, then Isn't It Romantic, and then the last one is a very merry bromance. And they all follow a group of friends. And so the premise is that they are in different states of wooing their women, all of them. And they are a club, and they read romance novels to try to figure out how to woo their women and how to help them in their love lives. And they all are pretty rich. Well, not pretty rich. They're upper class men in Nashville who have important roles and jobs. So Gavin in the first one, he's a professional baseball player. Mac in this one, he owns a bunch of nightclubs in Nashville. This one is Alexis and, oh my gosh, Noah. Noah is a huge player in the tech industry. He's a major tech guy. This one is my favorite, the Russian, and Elena. I had to remember her name, sorry. Elena, the Russian, plays hockey. And this one follows Colton, the country music star. And what was her name? Oh my gosh, what was her name? Gretchen. Gosh, I haven't read these books in a minute. Gretchen. And Gretchen is a lawyer. So they're all trying to woo their women by reading romance novels together. And every time one of them is in a funk, that they pick a romance novel to help them. And they become this really tight-knit group of guy friends. And it's just cute, and it's just funny, and it's flirtatious. And I mean, who doesn't love bright colored books for your shelf anyways? Look at this. Isn't this fun to just have bright colored books on your shelf? Fun. And they're just such fun books. And they were the first books that I picked up recommended to me by my sister and my mom, when my therapist was like, you need something light and fun and fluffy and something that you can read before bed. So those were the books that I picked up, and I have a soft spot in my heart for them. And again, when I was cleaning off my shelves, I saw these and I was like, oh my gosh, I do not talk about these books enough. I do not at all. And I forgot that they kind of existed. The next books that I have are Lauren Asher books. And I really like Lauren Asher, but I do not talk enough about her on my channel. She has the F1 books that are really popular right now. Throttle, Wrecked, what's the other one? There's a bunch of them, and you can find them at Target, and they are flying off the shelves. And then she has these ones, Fine Print, Terms and Conditions, and Final Offer, and they follow the three brothers, Rowan, Declan, and Cal. And the premise, they're kind of like Disneyland books, as people say. They were really popular on TikTok, and I love them. So the premise is that the three brothers, their grandfather, who basically raised them, and who they look up to really well, he passes away, and in his will, he leaves each of them a task that they have to complete in order to get the money and to get the things that they want from their will. And they basically own the Disney, fake Disney corporation. And so Rowan's task is that he has to go to their version of Disneyland, and he has to come up with something really creative to do and change and fix and figure out how to make the Disney parks better. And along the way, he meets the love of his life, of course, because they're great books and they're romance books, and he falls in love, and he figures out that life is better when you have someone by your side. And it's super cute, and it's got little hints of like Tinkerbell magic, as I would call it, along the way, and it's fun. And then you get Declan, and this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one, Terms and Conditions. And Declan's is he has to get married and have a child. And this one is, Declan is the most grumpy of Grumpy Sunshine books. This is the most grumpy of Grumpy Sunshine books ever. And so Declan ends up marrying his PA because it's a, what's the word I'm looking for? Just went out of my brain. She helps him, he helps her. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. We're gonna go with it. Marriage of Convenience. There it comes. I knew it would come back. I knew it would come back to me. It's Marriage of Convenience. And they end up kind of going on a journey, Iris and Declan. And oh my gosh, grumpiest of grumps and the sunshiniest of sunshines. And I love it. And I really love Iris in this book because there's some things with Iris that I really, really connect with. And then we've got Cal, and his book is the chunkiest. And Cal is broody. Cal's got some backstory to him. Cal's got some things that happened to him in his life that just make his struggle real. And Cal's mission is that he has to kind of figure himself out. And he has to go back to kind of essentially what I would call their hometown. They don't really have a hometown, but their hometown. And he has to figure out his shit. And he has to deal with his friend / girlfriend / person, Alana. And oh my gosh, this one is kind of heartbreaking. Out of the three of them, this one was the most hard for me to get through because there was just so much emotion and depth to it. But in the end, all three books deal with the same kind of like, they're dealing with the will, they're dealing with their grandpa, they're dealing with each other, they're dealing with all the emotional baggage that comes with being together. They're standalone books, so you don't have to read them together to understand the context of them. You can read them separately. You can read them all three. I would recommend reading all three so that by the time you get to Terms and Conditions, you understand the ending of the whole series. But it's so good. Lauren Asher's writing is just so sweet, but yet poignant. Her writing is really, really strong. Like, I really like her as an author, and I don't talk about her enough. I wish that I did. I wish that I talked more about her, and I wish that Love Unwritten is that her newest one? I think that's her newest book. I really like that book too. And so we can just come back to Lauren Asher more on our channel. We need to come back to Lauren Asher more on our channel. Remind me of that in the comments to come back to Lauren Asher. And then the last series that I have, I do not know, in the name of Jesus, why I do not talk about this series more, because literally it has one of my top 5 book boyfriends of all time in it, and that's Elliot Miles. So why I'm not talking about this series more, y'all need to, like, in the comments, please, 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 like, come at me, bro, because I don't. And that's the Miles Brothers series. These boys, they are some of my first loves when it comes to book boyfriends, and I literally do not talk about them enough. Like, shoot me now in the comments, because these boys, you've got Jameson with the stopover. He's the oldest, and he runs the Miles Corporation, and him and Emily are the start of the series, and he is broody and she is sunshine, and oh my gosh, we start off with a bang. And then you've got probably the best single parent book on the planet. You've got Tristan and Claire, and Tristan is this high-powered, like, he does acquisitions for the Miles Brothers company, for the Miles company. And Claire is a mom. Her husband passed away very, very tragically, and she's left with these three boys who are kind of just like, they're kind of a mess. And Tristan comes into their lives, and this book is funny. This book has got heart. Tristan comes in and he kind of helps the boys mend themselves, and he helps them with grief, and he helps them with dealing. And the way that he falls in love with Claire, oh my gosh, I can't with this book sometimes. This is probably the best single parent book I've ever read. Again, why am I not talking about these books best? I'm not. And then Elliot Miles. Elliot Miles is top 5 favorite book boyfriend for me. Why am I not talking about this? Elliot runs overseas in London, and Kate is in his office. She works for the finance department in his office, and they have enemies to lovers hate for each other at the beginning. They cannot be in the same room without being just snarky and nasty and all get out with each other. And they are spicy with each other, both in the boardroom and in the bedroom. And this book has some hilarious out loud, pee your pants moments, like laugh out loud moments. But at the same time, the literal like snark between them and the spice between them is on fire. And the ending of this book, I wept at the ending of this book. The plot twist in this book, it twisted me. When the plot twist was revealed in this book, I literally, I could not with this book. Literally, I've said literally like 50 times, because that's how much this book is. I love Elliot Miles. He's my favorite. And then we've got Christopher and Hayden. And Christopher is kind of the playboy of the group. He's the baby of the group. He kind of has that like, I'm the youngest, I'm entitled, I know what y'all did. And so he's got this spirit about him, and he decides that he needs to take a like break from the company. So he goes on this crazy adventure, and he runs into Hayden along the way, and Hayden changes his life. And when she changes his life, I mean, she changes his entire life. And it's magical watching Hayden change him. And as much as Hayden changes him, he changes Hayden. And it's such a good story. And they have some encounters with some other characters along the way that just make them stronger and better and great. And then there's this little novella at the end that's just kind of like an epilogue series that gives you little like, where are they now? And I love this, because once you've finished the whole series, you want more. You need more of all of them. And this is like a top 5 series for me. I like seriously have read this series 3 times through. It's by T.L. Swan. And I don't think I've ever really talked about it on my channel. Why? I don't know. It's the stopover, the takeover, the Casanova, the do-over, and then the little duet that's the Miles Ever After. I don't know why I haven't talked about this on my channel. You need to read this series. First off, T.L. Swan is a fabulous writer. If you haven't read anything by T.L. Swan, start here. Then you got to read the Misters series, and then you got to read, where should you go from there? Then I like Kingston Lane. You got to read Kingston Lane. And then the bonus, I'm reading the bonus right now, and it's so good. But there's a lot of great T.L. Swan books out there, and T.L. Swan is a really, really great author. She writes kick-ass, badass women who are feisty and fun and flirtatious and don't take no shit from their men, and I love that about her. So those are the 3 series that I don't talk about enough on my channel that I wish I talked about more. And so I love doing these kind of like recommendation videos. If you have a series or a trope or an idea that you want me to do more recommendations on, leave them in the comments below. Until next time, friends, bye-bye.